I'm on a date tonight, so I'll have to just look good. No, I'll just do it in front of her.
He's kept going! He scored! Oh, Stockport pressure. And the header into the superb goal. Johnny did it. Lisa! Rose trying to get the ball in. Wilkinson! The ball at her. His first goal in 13 games. Towards Sars thinking he's had the goal. Anderson with the score. Oh, Paddy Madden. It's a 5-star performance from Stockport County.
All right, we got a small house, but we got a big bloody heart, I tell you.
It's Monday, it's 8 p.m, and that can only mean one thing. Well, it probably means many different things for many different people, but for us and you, yes, you, it means it's time for SK3 TV, the weekly live YouTube show and podcast giving you the first word on all things county. For a week that's not contained that much actual football, we've actually got a fair bit to chat about. We've got a pre-season training camp / fan piss-up, with the emphasis on fan piss-up, that involved an actual game of football that I watched, so that's an improvement on last week. We've got shirts on sale. We've both got actual and also potential ticketing woes. Never change county for the love of all that is holy. Let's get into it then, shall we? A triple-pronged strike force for you this evening, as I'm joined by Hannah. Hello, Hannah.
Hi, Nick.
How are we? Looking resplendent in the new shirt that is definitely pink.
It is definitely pink. Yeah, it's much pinker in person.
It does look quite pink there. Yeah, I'm impressed.
So no, I'd say I went sized up after. So people always ask about the sizing. I've not put it. I think they're the same size as last year's.
See, important consumer advice. This is like Watchdog. Yeah. This is.
But you know what? After everything that everyone said, including myself, about the ticketing, that's still to come. The shirt sales, I ordered it at 8 o'clock this morning and picked it up at lunchtime, which is pretty impressive.
That's disgustingly impressive. That's really annoying. Actually, there's not enough drama there for me. But look, there is some drama.
Come, won't it? Like it's only Monday on the first day of sales, so
yeah. I mean, we'll just have all the drama with the ticketing like usual. That seems best.
Although my shirt drama, just because me. The Pinatar shirt. So we had the nice white training tops in Pinatar, sold out in the size that I wanted, but I could buy it online today.
So this is what happens when you bend the ear of the right people, Hannah. This is
well, all's well that ends well. That's all. I'll just leave that.
Yeah. And also joining us is Will. For the first time, coming to us live from SK.
Yes, SK1. SK1. Yes.
Yeah. The heartlands
of Stockport. Yes. The new setup is on its way. To be honest, behind me is not really going to change much, but there are other parts of this room that are very much work in progress.
I've already been enlisted to help with manual labour, have I not?
Well, sticking something to the ceiling.
Just that kind of guy.
Specifically because you're tall.
Yeah.
So
I always would, because I could never like when there's like a delivery driver or a lorry or something, or a workman, I hope they never like ask me to like help them back into a space or something.
You'd be fine. It's easy.
No, I just have to get me dad. It's fine.
See, I learned how to do that because I had to do that kind of thing for work. My first job out of uni involved a lot of backing articulated lorries into exhibition halls. So yeah, I've had to learn to sort of go, right, come here, right, keep coming, keep going. Oh, whoa! All that. I've got all the moves. They're all there.
No, I can't. I can do that. Whoa! I can do that. That's the bit I can do. But other than that. Right, what have we got to talk about this week? Well, first and foremost, actual football. we'll get on to the derby game, but first, Hannah, tell us all about your jaunt to Spain.
It was really bloody hot. That's the kind of overriding memory.
It was
of
hot
it.
here as well. Can't imagine
Yeah,
how bad it was
I
over
did
there.
tell you though that I was going away, so it would be hot, and everyone was like, "No, look at the weather forecast." Yeah, so you're welcome. It was good. It was very much like last year. There were a lot more people, obviously, at the fan event on Wednesday night. We went out Tuesday morning. It was really weird kind of walking around Manchester Airport and seeing people that you kind of recognize and some people that you really recognize and keeping your head down. So that was Tuesday morning. And then, yeah, it was just it's always quite laid back, like one game, one fan event. And then the rest of the time, everyone kind of just hangs around in their various respective hotels. Obviously, Ben went to Ibiza. I don't know how that went. But
Yeah, I can't wait to hear about that. I'm assuming he's got back home.
And he won the third shirt at the fan event, which is very exciting. So yeah, it was all good. We got to meet. Oh my god, though, right. So I know that we have this long-standing rivalry with Burnley. I mean, similarly to Stoke, but they're historical rivalries. You know, like younger fans probably wouldn't necessarily be aware of them. Certainly not Stoke, probably more so Burnley. But when Michael Mellon was announced at the fan event, I have never been so... Shame sounds a bit dramatic, but I was absolutely horrified by the kind of anti-Burnley songs. But it wasn't just
some going.
Move on. So we'd had Lewis Fiorini by this point, and we'd had a, what is it? United shit city's worst. We've done that. And then Michael Mellon, who got 2 or 3 rounds of anti-Burnley songs. And the poor lad just stood there kind of looking incredibly uncomfortable and not particularly feeling very welcomed. So we kind of made up for it at the end and gave him a good cheer, but he's one of ours now.
I think the other thing about that as well is, at least, I mean, I'm not a fan of that with any new signing, but at least with Fiorini, he's not a City player anymore. Yeah. He's our player outright. Mellon is still a Burnley player. He's on loan to us for the season, so he's our player. So that's, I mean, I'm all in favour of anti-Burnley stuff, but not in that scenario, and don't like that. Don't like that. We should be better than that.
I know. I'm thinking
very peculiar. I did see a lot of Derby fans online bemoaning the fact that their club didn't put on the sort of stuff that ours did.
We had that last year with Lincoln as well. I mean, Lincoln were even worse. Lincoln did nothing, like barely acknowledge their fans. I mean, even the manager actually said, this is a camp for the players, it's not for the fans. And there was zero engagement and kind of active avoidance as well. The Derby players were staying in some golf resort kind of away. I don't know whether it was La Manga or kind of somewhere
away from the riffraff.
Away from the riffraff, whereas obviously our lads were in the hotel that they were in last year. So there were a lot more county fans in our hotel this year than there were last year, but generally kind of left them alone and didn't bother them too much, and it was all fairly civilized. But yeah, I think there was a couple of Derby fans that were invited to our fan events and said at the time like how nice it was to be included. And it does, I think, I've said this a lot with the trophy tour, but with things like the fan event, they're all free to attend, and it really brings home that other clubs don't do anything like this. And we really are incredibly lucky that we have, Charlotte's got a signed shirt. She got to meet all the players, that, everyone was polite and had time for them. And, even at the hotel, Charlotte's now decided that Jid is her new best friend because he waved to her at the airport because they were playing ping pong a lot. There was a whole ping pong extreme tournament with Jid, Shay, I think it was, can't remember who else, Joe, Hillary, so the younger ones. And yeah, so obviously,
It's very much a young man's game, isn't it? Ping pong.
Yeah, but they were taking it very seriously. So that was Pinatar apart from the football.
But I actually, it was a very strange thing for me because I was in the office for work on Friday, and I found myself. I definitely didn't watch an illegal stream at all.
No.
I definitely, it was definitely all above board. I definitely wasn't on a streaming site, of which there are many watch it. But yeah, like 11 o'clock kickoff over it. Was it 10 o'clock or 11
It was
o'clock?
11 our time, so 10 your
Yeah, so
time.
10 there. But I got about 20 minutes in and just thought, what's going on with my life here? What am I doing here? And I thought, as someone who doesn't like to kind of draw too much from friendlies, so I thought, considering the heat, I thought our pressing was fantastic, which makes me think, oh God, it'll be when it's like cooled down a bit and we're playing in our own climate, we'll be pressing really well. 'Cause it'll be
Right.
great.
So after Oldham, I was like, fuck it, there's no way I'm going to Barrow on a Tuesday night. After
One is now.
after Friday, I was like, yeah, Barrow, let's go. I'd like texted my dad, and yeah, it was all on, and obviously it isn't on at all now. But no, I think given the temperatures, and I did a report for Des, and I said in that I have no background information about the Derby players. I don't know, how they lined up in terms of their first starting 11 versus the others, whether that was their first team, if you like, or whether it was, well, I just don't know. But what really impressed me is that we were there or thereabouts and on top for large portions of all 3/3, because I was worried that we were going to put what looked similar to a first choice starting 11 up first, and then we'd do really well in the first third and then tail off as we made substitutions and not weaken the team but made changes, and it didn't happen at all. And that, the goal was a soft goal. It was just one of those kind of messy 89th minute sucker punches.
I did enjoy the fact there was someone on Twitter who I won't name because I don't want to embarrass him. He's more than capable of embarrassing himself. But he was adamant that Corey Adai was the one in goal who conceded that goal.
Yes.
And just
not.
continual doubling down. It blew my mind.
Yeah, and by that point he hadn't been in goal for approximately an hour. So there's that.
Yeah. But yeah, as I said, there's not a lot that can be gleaned from it, but yeah, going toe to toe, and only losing to not the best goal to concede in the last minute when it was pretty much mostly our youth team and Trialists on. I think it's all right. As much as you can tell something from a friendly, that's fine. That's fine. I can take that. What do you have any insider information on what happened with the Barrow game then? Because it's not one that I was excited about. I'll be honest. It didn't really fill me with much joy.
So when they agreed to play it was supposed to be at FC United. So Barrow, as you know, train at FC United, and then the whole team goes up on a Friday afternoon for their home games on Saturdays. And the pitch has been dug up. Barrow aren't training at FC United anymore. So it was moved to the So Legal Stadium. And at some point, my assumption is because Barrow have been a little bit dramatic about it. They're very disappointed to reveal.
Yeah.
So I think it's it was our decision because our training plans changed. I think our training plans changed to avoid going to Barrow on a Tuesday night, which is perfectly fair in my opinion.
Very disappointed to reveal should only be reserved for when you've got a sexually transmitted disease and you have to tell your partner. So very disappointed to reveal that we're not playing a game of football that no one cares about. It's like, less of the drama, lads. Come on.
Yeah, and their fans are taking it very seriously, aren't they? And sending abuse. Yeah. So that's the story behind the Barrow. It's not inside it. Like Charlie talked about it at the fan event, but that's the backstory. So, and then
How-
the Stoke game has switched to 2:45s because that was originally going to be, I can't remember what it's going to be, 3:30s again, or no, it's
3:30. No,
I
it's
think,
good.
yeah, I think it was.
2
was it-
hours. I think it was
I think
2
it's
Oh,
hours.
yeah, you might be right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the second time in a year we've tried that. We tried that
Yeah.
last pre-season as well, and just no one
Yeah.
seems to be having it.
So I've got my tickets for that. I'm super excited. I was never allowed the first day. Well, yeah, I was never allowed to go to watch County and Stoke when I was little. It's the one that my mum firmly put her feet down about.
And have you actually been told you're allowed to now? Has that been reversed?
No, she doesn't listen to things like this. So I'm hoping I'll get away with it. I've told my dad not to tell her. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah, you'd be all right. Yeah, I won't tell. At least you've not outright come and said it on a thing that's being watched by hundreds.
No,
of
but she
people.
won't watch it. It's fine. No one will tell her.
Let's all agree not to grass Hannah up.
Yeah, don't tell my mum, please.
That's fair. That's fair. A question
What?
about the fan event. Was there a Q&A section to it?
What they did was they introduced all the new players, and then they did little mini interviews with Corey Fraser, I think. Can't remember who else. I feel like there was someone else. Oh, Febs.
At what point did the Louis Barry question come up? Because I'm fascinated
feel like it did,
by the
didn't
whole
it?
Louis Barry saga.
I think it was in the Charlie interview. You realise you do have to drink now. That's the rules of the drink of the Louis Barry. Oh God, my God, it's still functional and has water in it.
Yeah, of course.
Bloody hell! I thought
Yeah.
the novelty would have worn off by now.
I actually went back and looked at pictures of Love Island contestants because you mentioned it was like a Love Island water bottle.
Yes.
And I was shocked because I just assumed that on Love Island they just existed solely on each other's fluids. I didn't realise they were drinking like proper real water.
I mean,
So
it's probably
that
got
You
bugs
assume
in it.
you assume that what they were putting in the bottles was water and not just other contestants' fluids.
Oh,
I mean,
I
if it-
just realised I've still got the tag on my shirt.
Ring it up. Brilliant. You take that back after you've used it for tonight. My camera keeps doing the Breaking Bad filter.
Mm,
Big fan.
I've noticed
I'm
that.
going to cook some meth after this.
Yeah, so they asked about Lou Barry, and this was obviously before he scored for Villa in their pre-season game. He just
I
said,
love that. I love the whole, oh no, he scored for Villa. This could change everything. He scored a tap in that any of us could have scored. That's
I've not
fucking
seen
mental.
You say any of us could have scored. Would we have been there in the box? Or would we have still been at the halfway line?
I would have been still in our own third, honestly.
I wouldn't have left the box, so I'd have been there. I'd have been still up there from 10 minutes previous.
So you'd have been offside, is what I'm hearing.
No, I'll be on because the ball would have been coming from an angle that rendered me onside.
Okay.
But no,
Pulled back.
he said that it would be later in the transfer window, if at all, and they weren't expecting anything until kind of August time. And as Ian said, the other scurrilous rumor was that Daddy Barry was at the game. It's not that deep. They've just got a house over here.
Yeah.
So
On account of him being a former Barcelona player.
I think with the Barry saga, we've been saying it's been said for a while that if it happens, it'll happen nearer the start of the season, near the end of the transfer window.
Mm-hmm.
This is not new news, and yet it keeps having to be repeated because I still see people saying, "Oh, if it's not happened yet, it's not happening," and I'm like, how many times does it have to be said? If it's happening, it will happen nearer the end of the transfer window. But he's not gone anywhere else. So by that logic of if it's not happened now, it's not happening at all, he's starting in the Premier League this year. Because by that logic, he's not leaving Villa. And he's not. I mean, he's great. I don't think he's ready for the Premier League yet.
So Seb Raven's gone from Villa to Wrexham last week, maybe the end of the week before. So they are letting players go But he's still got a good couple of years on his contract, hasn't he? And there's no rush for him to go. It would make perfect sense to have him go out on loan again. There were rumours that Birmingham were interested, Stoke a few weeks before that.
There's a little part of me that wants him to go to Wrexham. Just for the piss boiling.
Like, we've got this kind of weird sense of Louis Barry entitlement that if he leaves Villa, then he will definitely be coming to us. Whereas, football economics and packages don't work like that. And Birmingham are absolutely hemorrhaging money. Now, I know that Villa fans and Birmingham are not traditional bedfellows, but, maybe
I think the thing,
get past it.
I think the thing, because players, generally speaking, won't care about inter-club rivalries that much. I do think with the Villa Birmingham thing, because Barry's family is so ardently Villa, I did think there was question marks over that. I think if it was say if Blackburn had come down and Blackburn were interested, then I'd have gone, yeah, he's probably going to end up there. But I don't see him going to Birmingham. I don't see, I don't see that happening. But I could see him going elsewhere. And that sense of entitlement, I don't think he should. I don't think we are entitled to him. I do think if he goes to a League One club, it would make the most sense for him to come to us. But if he does go elsewhere, then fair enough. It's whatever is best for his career is what is the decision that he and Villa are going to take.
Yeah,
it's not like we've recruited based on, we've recruited as though we're not going to be signing him. Yeah. So if we do sign him, it's a nice bonus.
It's a bonus. It's not critical to our season,
In terms of trialists for the Derby game, then, so we saw Jordan Rossiter again.
Yeah.
The third of the game saw the left-sided defender from Leeds, the name of whom Mullen,
Jeremiah
Mullen. Yeah, that's the one. Saw him. Ben Woodburn, formerly of Liverpool, out on the left.
And you know what?
Very hotly tipped.
Yeah, and they were faffing about changing shirts. It was very confusing. So he was, I can't remember what they did. Did Jordan Rossiter change shirt numbers? I don't know. It was like some kind of weird voodoo trialist magic. And then
Cameron Jerome as well.
Yeah.
Who apparently it's been said, it was said at the fan event that we're definitely not signing him. It's just, I would imagine, I think I said this on the boards last week, but I'd imagine he moves in the same circles as Stott and Wilson. So it's just a training thing where he looks for a club, I reckon, and making up the numbers because obviously it's county, so we've got injuries.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Stretton didn't travel, Rydell, Powell.
Because they're injured. Yeah. And I mean, with the thing of him making up the numbers, I saw somebody suggest, oh, why would he do that? Surely he'd want to be on trial somewhere that he might get a contract. It's like, well, we had Jordan Keane as a trialist. We weren't going to be signing him, but he made up the numbers for us. He was able to train with us, help him get fit, help him stay fit, and then he managed to get and he's got a new contract somewhere else. It happens. It happens all the time.
Jerome, at his stage of life as well, has had a really impressive career. He would add value to any training session, especially with the young uns. So yeah, it makes perfect sense. It's just adding some quality and sharing his kind of expertise, I guess, and experience.
I do love it when you see people after everything. It's like that Mark Stott interview never happened because the way people some players that get suggested by people suggest like a 34-year-old free agent who's just been released by a championship team and has been like permanently injured for 5 years, and people are like, oh yeah, we should go for him. It's like, did you not listen to the interview? Did you not listen to the road we're going down now?
Yeah, it's interesting as well. I don't know. We're skipping about on your agenda, but obviously the EFL have released their EFL Fantasy League program today, And at first, I've not seen it since. So they report on the percentage of people that have chosen a particular player, and everyone was going for Corey or Die. And you just know that it's because they're looking at stats on paper. And statistically, he was the strongest keeper in League Two last season. So they're not looking at like we are objectively, well, you know, there's a 50% chance, arguably, at the moment that he will play against Cambridge or start against Cambridge. They're looking at his stats in the same way that, you know, if you look at someone on paper and don't kind of dig behind the numbers, then you end up looking a bit silly.
I still think it'll be Ben starting on the first day anyway.
I've put Ben in my fantasy league team.
I think it should be him starting as well, not just the fact that I think that's what happened.
I don't subscribe to the whole, you know, he's deserved it and the loyalty. I've just got a feeling in my bones.
I think he's not really put a foot wrong in that. If you look at current form, there's nothing to suggest he should be dropped. But I think with the cup games as well, I think there's going to be plenty of game time for both, and then whoever holds onto the shirt holds onto it. I mean, Corey's definitely the one. He's going to be the future number one either way. It's just how quickly he manages to get that number one shirt.
Yeah, and Ben pulled off some cracking saves on Saturday. Although, I mean, Corey's got such a long reach that it just seems to come out of thin air, and a really.
He should come and do your installation thing for you, Will.
He wouldn't need a step. He could do it all from the floor.
Yeah, he could probably do it from Pinatar, to be honest. Stretch across the ocean. Yes, yeah. We'll get on to ticketing woes very shortly, straight after this. Loads of people in the comments who are watching. Thank you. Some of the usual names in there, as well as some unusual ones. What should those people do, Hannah? Rather than just watching and not logging in to YouTube, what should they do?
They should log in and they should like and subscribe. That's what I'd do if I was just sitting there, you know, killing time. Yeah,
that's what I'd do. And they should find all the other links in the episode description and go and like us on all the other stuff as well. I think that's the best thing to do, really.
And they should follow us on Twitter X at SK3 TV Pod.
Yes, they should.
Which is
good handle.
The username are kind of across the board, so it's also that on YouTube. Yeah. Making it easy for people. It's all about the discoverability.
That's what we like to do. Yeah. But talking of making it easier for people, yes, future ticketing.
Do you know what though? Oh, I love this football club, but there are some players and they get so much right. And I went from I've ordered my shirts and it was all smooth to I can't buy tickets for a cup game. But I don't know that it was entirely Future Ticketing's fault in this circumstance, because I'm the pop side. The pop side is closed for the Blackburn game. So we're in a situation now where the whole of the Cheadle end is taken up by season ticket holders. So they can't sell me any of those tickets. And then in the main stand, there are or by this point there were, and it was only lunchtime because went down to the ground. There's no two seats together. You know, I can't leave my 10-year-old on her own. So yeah, so we've just got to wait for general sale. So having a season ticket in the Together stand doesn't offer you any kind of advantage in terms of first picking of cup games where the Together stand is closed. And I recognize that is, you know, going to be a handful of instances, but in the past it's never been an issue. I've just been able to buy tickets in the Cheadle end or the main stand, and it's not, which, you know, I'm a victim of the club's success. I'm not a victim. Like, I'll get over it. It's on Sky if the worst comes to the worst. But it just feels like, you know, they're sending out the barcodes with missing a number at the end. And, send me an email that that my season tickets are in the pop side and say, unfortunately, you won't be able to send out email. You won't be able to buy tickets until general sale because of I don't know, our commitments otherwise. And then that would have saved me a good few attempts this morning at doing it.
I think as a first-time season ticket holder and a long-term popsider, I'm a little bit disappointed that I don't currently know if I'm going to be working that night or not. So it kind of doesn't immediately impact me. But if I did know, it's kind of like, it's frustrating that I can't get the seat that I've paid for the whole season just because they've decided to shut the stand. And they did it in the FA Cup game. Though. How much money are they really going to save? Really?
Well, it's stewarding, isn't it? And it's staffing the bars and stuff. And it also gives them the option, if they're inundated by Blackburn fans, they can go the length of the pop side. In fairness, it normally doesn't bother me because it's happened a few times in the past. I think it was the Aldershot replay.
The Worksop game last season as well. Worksop.
Oh yeah, it was Worksop actually, not Aldershot.
Yeah, because I went to that. It's the first time I ever saw a game from the main stand.
So there's it generally doesn't bother me. I kind of recognise for operational reasons that they need to do it, but it's the first time that I've not been then able to buy a ticket somewhere else.
Well, I'm going to play a bit of devil's advocate. I might be wrong, but do we not have to give a bigger away allocation with it being a cup game? So is it possible that Blackburn might have the pop side, or am I totally off base there? I don't know.
Possibly.
No, the maximum it would be 2,000, and they wouldn't all have to be undercover. So we could easily give them the railway and 2 blocks of the pop side and fulfill.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
So no.
Yeah.
It's just a cost saving exercise, which is the same reason we did it against Worksop. Now I was frustrated by the decision against Worksop, but I kind of thought, okay, yeah, it's Worksop. Are we going to sell out? Probably not.
No, it was. I was in Chile, and it was really quiet. No.
But I do kind of think there are going to be a lot of people who've never seen us play against Blackburn before. And I know that there are people that I go to games with who I probably won't be able to sit near if I can go. Because the seats that we all sit in every single league game are unavailable to us. Yeah. And I don't think it's really fair. And I don't know, given that we didn't used to close stands when we were in the Conference North and getting, 3,500, 4,000 every week, sure, okay, it's going to cost more stewarding wise to steward all those away fans next to the home section. Close yellow block. I say that as a yellow blocker. Close yellow block, segregate the whole thing, use that as your segregation. But to shut the stand entirely, and also the fact that as a result of this, I can't actually buy a ticket online. I have to go to the club. I have to go either over the phone or to the ticket office. I can't buy a ticket online because my seat is unavailable for the game. And future ticketing can't handle moving seats. And yeah, I just think it's just frustrating.
But if you do ring up, I wanted 4 tickets, and obviously there weren't 4 together anywhere, and nor were there 2 twos. But we were happy to split up. I think if you want 1, it's fine. But obviously, then you definitely won't be with anyone unless
But you shouldn't have to split up when you've got a season ticket. And this is the thing, actually, that I think it bothers me more that people like yourself who go in a group where you've all bought your season tickets together cannot sit together for a League Cup game without waiting until general sale and hoping for the best, hoping that certain people haven't bought a ticket for their season ticket seat. Yeah. And I'm not sure. I think when we're selling this many season tickets, I question whether it's really necessary to make fans jump through hoops.
But then as well, again, kind of coming back to the economics of it, it's £5 for concessions, £10
Sure.
for adults.
Sure.
So the normal kind of cost structures of, you know, whatever nominal amount they allocate for a season ticket holder and whatever, you know, for the normal sales. Oh, Blackpool at 30 quid, but that's another.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
But you know, the £5, £10, you know, the incoming revenue. I'm sure they'll have done all of the maths around it, and it makes sense to the club.
I'm sure
and
they have.
I don't have an issue with that. But
I'm sure they have. It is frustrating, and also I was fully prepared to just buy the ticket. If I couldn't go, I couldn't go.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to do that if I have to faff around getting a ticket in the main stand. Like, if I could have bought the ticket today on future ticketing for my seat in the pop side, I probably would have done so. Whether I can make it or not, because at a tenner, it's like, oh, I've lost a tenner. Never mind. You know, I'll probably save that on not being able to have a few beers in the pub.
I think Dave Fielding makes a good point.
That's not a bad
Sell tickets
suggestion.
Everywhere, and then if not enough sell, you may be relocated. Just mention that at the point of sale. I think that's a fair way of doing it.
Possibly bother me less. Although the only drawback with that scenario is that, okay, if we have to select another area of the ground, the people that I sit with, we can go, okay, we're going to all aim for this part of the main stand, which is what we did against Workshop. There was the yellow block migrated to a particular part of the main stand, which I think annoyed the usual residents.
That's right.
Which I think is another argument to say leave us in the pop side. Main standers don't want us there. So,
well, I don't think main standers want anything really.
Louis Barry.
They don't want anything apart from a manager to do something they can complain about.
Yeah, true.
Don't think we asked for much, do we? Don't think that's much. Right, well, that is something that could possibly be raised at the fan forum. But here at SK3 TV, we're going to put together a fan forum bingo card over the next few weeks.
Please send in your suggestions. We have
Please. Yeah. Right, who's going first? Hannah, you sound like you're straining at the leash. How many questions before Louis Barry gets mentioned?
Well, that's like
that's a sweepstake. Let's
get that out of the way.
Yeah, we could have that as well. Like, we'll come up with a prize, and how many minutes is it until Louis Barry's mentioned? I think. Well, I was going to have one about Blackpool away tickets. That was going to be on there, and related to that, like, how are they allocating them? You know, if you've got 30 aways from last season or whatever we were up to, 15 was it?
It's very interesting because the loyalty scheme doesn't carry over, I believe it starts.
Well, no, I mean, there's been no mention, so presumably it's just a free for all. But they've given us 2,300, haven't they? So
yeah,
it's a
and
decent
that is
the usual, I think.
That has been reported as an initial allocation.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe 3,000 total then, possibly.
Yeah, we've. They said they'd give us a significant number more. Apparently, their away allocations have been reduced since. Do you remember? Fan died a couple of seasons ago, and since then, the police have kind of required them to have fewer away fans. So then, maybe that was a temporary one, and they can kind of go back up because apparently, what we've been given for that game is higher than the vast majority of them got last season.
They just don't care if we die. That's what I'm hearing. They just don't care. It's like, oh, it's only Stockport County fans. Screw them. Charge them 30 quid and take their lives into their own hands.
30 quid is
30 quid.
Well and truly madness.
And 11 for Charlotte's not terrible, but 30 quid. And 25 for my dad, essentially. So over 65s. Yeah.
It's absolutely. But that's I remember there being points in the National League North where I think Fylde charged like over 20 quid at one point. And it was over 20 quid for Division 6 football.
Right. And I mean, Crewe was 27.
Yeah.
So, maybe I shouldn't be that scandalised by 30 quid. Just
You're
feels
paying an extra
like
3 quid to not be in Crewe.
A lot more. Yeah, you would, wouldn't you? And there might be better food as well, because the food at Crewe is atrocious.
Paid a lot more for a lot less.
I've bought my parking just in case, because it's expensive to park in Blackpool, isn't it? So I paid like £8 for how many hours, and it's like halfway between the beach and the stadium. So I feel like I've chosen well.
That's all you want, isn't it? That's all you can ask for, really. In Blackpool, no less.
I know, it's like being back in Pinatar, stadium, beach, like either side of this.
It's literally all you need. Yeah, it is. It's an expensive week, though, isn't it? You know, people buying shirts and then Blackburn tickets as well, and now Blackpool too. It's pricey week for pre-season.
So we've got Blackburn, and Blackpool, because I know of quite a few people that have managed to book tickets for the Blackburn friendly.
It's going to be our best attended friendly ever.
Yeah.
It's going to be a sellout.
And
no one will actually be there. It'll all just be tickets that have been sold.
Yeah. Is the pub side open for that one?
I don't imagine so.
Doubt it.
It never is. That's the thing. Like I'm used to it. It doesn't bother me. What bothers me is just not being able to get any kind of ticket. And you know, someone in the comments pointed out it's the summer holidays. Lots of season ticket holders don't use their season ticket week in, week out anyway, let alone for cup games. Yeah. So I don't doubt that it'll be absolutely fine. It's just a source of irritation on top of many sources of irritation today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I should probably say, you know, that is where I'm at with it. Like, it is irritating. It is not a cataclysm. I'm not going to be snapping my season ticket card in half and throwing it on the pitch because I can't go in the bobside against Blackburn.
There's a lot of effort involved these days in like doing a ceremonial, like ripping up of your season ticket. It's not like it used to be, where it's just a paper. Yeah, but now.
Yeah, and the trick is to use last year's, but like put your finger over the date. Or something.
I mean, I've got the Apple Wallet version of it. It's like what, we're gonna snap my phone in half, like
throw your phone into the reserves.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not hard to say in the reserves, am I? It becomes a pain.
Is that copyrighted?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's intellectual.
In the reservoirs, there you go. Just use the full. Use the full
reservoirs.
Thing. In the reservoirs, it's you know. I keep being accused of being posh, so fuck it. Just lean into
it. Yeah.
Just lean
I think you two
into
are the two poshest people I know who get saddled with.
I think that says more about you than it does about us.
Oh, of course it does. Yeah.
Because I'm not posh.
You are a thespian, though.
I'm scum, and she don't believe. Yeah, that's true.
What was that?
You are a thespian.
Yeah. Sometimes you get paid to do it. It's nice when that happens. Oof. Shut up, Matthew.
Matty White seems to agree.
I'm not.
Oh, I'm definitely not. So.
He's not highlighting that one, is he?
Let's not be silly. So I mean, I'm definitely not. If anyone thinks I'm posh, then they need to have a good outlook. If you think I'm posh, then it definitely says more about you than it does. It does me. So back to the forum, then. Who's going to the forum? I didn't.
When is it? I have no concept of time. Moving house has just taken over my life.
6th of August. I got tickets.
Okay.
I think it's.
I have a ticket. Anyway.
Well. I don't like the comment that's. I don't like the comment that's just been made.
Where did you grow up, Will?
I mean, the road I lived on in Stockport is quite posh, but I don't know who this person is, and I don't know why they know where I lived in Stockport.
Yeah, I've got a baby reindeer thing going on now.
Oh, don't like that. Yeah, it is a posh part of Stockport. I can't deny it. But that was because my grandmother sold her house, and my dad was on telly at the time that my parents got that house. So that's the only reason we lived in a nice part of Stockport. Once my parents separated, that didn't stay the same.
What was your dad in telly in?
When they moved there, he would have finished on Brookie. He'd have just done a bit of London's Burning.
Ah, that's exciting.
Basically, the 90s just distilled in one.
That was the 80s.
Yeah.
He was in Brookie in the 80s. Like, he was early Brookie. Early rookie. Before I think my brother was born, let alone me. Yeah.
Have you ever been on telly, Hannah? Apart from in
Yeah,
the crowd at a football
I
match?
was on Fox News in Vegas
Amazing.
What?
That's a story.
at the Welcome to Vegas sign on New Year's Eve. Yeah.
Oh,
And
shut it down there.
I was, what else have I been on? I was on Inside Out, which was then covered on the One Show. Yeah, I'm like an actual media person.
I was
All I have is podcasts and me running on the pitch at various celebratory county occasions and running in the wrong direction.
I
That's
mean,
all I've got.
you do manage to get yourself in quite prime positions in a pitch invasion. I've been quite impressed. Some of the photographs I've seen you in the background of, just been like,
Yeah, just ruining the Challoner family moment in 2022.
That's the exact one I'm thinking of.
Running on the pitch after the Salford penalty shootout and running. I watched it again over the weekend, and I just run in completely the wrong direction. It's I've never seen anything like it.
And do you feature on that episode of Football Cops that covers that game?
No, because I've not watched it yet.
Oh, you should watch it. It's quite fun because while it's all kicking off at Bradford and Carlisle, we're all just like having a party on the pitch.
Oh, I hope maybe you'll see me giving the V's to that small child who was wearing a full United kit when Jack Stretton scored. Maybe you'll see that because I was fully leaning over the segregation barrier. That was like the yobbiest thing I've ever done in my life.
Nice.
Will's just having some sinister things happening to him
It's-
right now.
yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Should we find out how to trace IP addresses for you?
So most of the times I've been on TV, it's just been like random bits of extra work. But I was once on a TV on like a, you know, those prank shows where like people get pranked in public, those sorts of shows. There was one with old people called like Off Their Rockers or something like that.
Oh yes,
Yeah, I was in an episode of that. I was in Woking, not having a curry. Matthew will be very disappointed to hear. And this old lady came up to me and was like, "Oh, I've lost my glasses. I've broken my glasses. I can't read the message on my phone. Could you read it to me?" And I was like, "Sure." And it was just a really weirdly dirty message that I had to film. That I read to this woman, and she said something weird and then disappeared, and I was like, that was weird. I bet I'm on TV. I bet there's hidden cameras or something. And I get up and I walk into the shopping centre and just film crew. I'm like, great, okay. And they're like, okay, well we need to shoot some pickups. So can you do that the same way? And I was like, I'll try. I don't know what happened. Had to sign a release form, and then I was like, I should ask for money. Like, I'm actually an actor. I should be getting paid to be doing this stuff.
You
like,
should. When we were at the Jameson whiskey thing in May, and I swore blind that I wasn't going to tell anyone about this, but some of them have made it into the public domain anyway. There are 2 clips on the Jameson whiskey account on Twitter with a number of Stockport County associated people, and one of them was Clinton Morrison said to me, right, I need you to do what your goal celebration would be. Like, I've not played football since I was in primary school. This is not something that crosses my mind. And all I could think about was like that kind of dream scenario where you celebrate and no one comes and celebrates with you. So I decided that I was going to have to fully commit to this because it couldn't be half-assed. That would have been worse. It was awkward as fuck anyway. And so I did my celebration, but I was mic'd up and I had like the sticky mics on my chest, but the mic pack was around my ankle. So I jump up. It's awful, but it's also hilarious. Nick's seen it, and he's like, "This is the worst thing I've ever seen." the mic pack falls off my ankle, which makes it look like some kind of, ankle bracelets tagging thing, which they all laughed about. Like, you've not had an ankle tag before, have you? No. So they made me do it again, and then I had to do it again, and I don't even know which one they used, but oh my God, it's absolutely excruciating.
Just letting that hang.
I don't know what I'd have done in that situation. I'd have just.
It was.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. And we weren't. I was talking to Steve Bellis about it because he does one as well, and I said, "Have you seen it?" He's like, "No, I don't go on Twitter." It's like, "It's really bad, Steve." And but what he said, and it was the same for me, is we weren't given any kind of clue what he was going to ask us before he asked us these questions. And I'm slightly worried that more might come out, because 2 are out so far, and I think there's 5 or 6. So hopefully that's it and it's done, and you know, the humiliation has passed. But yeah, it was entirely spontaneous, but one of those where I just felt like I had to commit to it, or it would have looked even worse than it actually.
The least surprising thing about that was the fact that Steve Bellis doesn't go on Twitter, because I bet he's still dealing with like posts he's been tagged in on Facebook from like 2015 in the Finns album. It must be a nightmare. The small claims court is well and truly in session. John Billsbury was on 15-1 in the 80s. Now,
nice.
If you'd have told me John Billsbury was on a quiz show, I think 15-1 is the one I would guess that.
Not the Krypton factor.
Oh God! Well, actually, no. Only Connect. John Billsbury's very Only Connect. I think.
What's Only Connect? I don't remember that.
Hannah, really?
That's not.
No,
that's
it's
new though. That's not 80s. That's new.
What was the one that
it's been going about 15 years, but
Gordon, was he called Gordon Burns?
To me.
Yeah, it's Krypton Factor.
That's the Krypton Factor.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
I think I'd do well on Pointless, me.
And
then there was one year that I watched. I got really into Countdown about 20 years ago when I was like young and had nothing to do. And there was one week where I actually got the conundrum, but they changed it to Baggy Pick, so it was piggyback. And I was like, well, my sense of joy is like.
You sure you weren't watching the kids' version of that?
Yeah. No, because I'm not allowed to. My TV switches itself off when that comes on. I'm part of the court order. God.
I quite like watching the 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown, because I swear they make the maths ones easier, and it's like, oh, I'm still good at maths because I've worked it out really quickly. Like, I swear they make the maths ones easier on that,
and they make the conundrums easier as well.
But they're always also filthy, so I'm always distracted by whatever the filth is.
Yeah,
I can't work out ambulance from that. Like,
I went to watch some. I've been to see some episodes live of that. I went to see the one where Sean Locke told Miles Jupp that he wouldn't spit on him when they were having sex tonight, and it must have been, they must have had to stop for about an hour, because everyone just kept corpsing again straight after it. Everyone just lost it. Yeah.
I've worked with Miles Jupp, and he's lovely.
He seems like a delight.
Yeah, he is lovely.
Hannah knows someone who knows Alex Horn as well, don't you?
Oh yeah, someone at work there. He plays football with Alex Horn's son. Yeah, they're like school
we need to be on the podcasting version of Taskmaster. I've got to get on Taskmaster somehow, and if I can do it through podcasting, cool. Right.
I want Taskmaster and Strictly. That's all I'm asking for.
I'm not going anywhere near Strictly.
Yeah.
Although the way it's going with Strictly now, I might get a chance to go on and be a professional dancer. The way things are going this week with everyone getting sacked.
Oh well. God. Yeah, there's like, it feels like every time I put the BBC News app on, there's someone else who's complaining about being treated like dancers have been treated for years.
Imagine they cancelled Strictly. What would the BBC do then? They should just put Claudia Winkleman on the screen for like an hour. I'd watch that.
They should do that whether they cancel Strictly or not, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm fine, fully on board.
Yeah.
Yes, more Winkleman, please. Oh, any other business before we wrap up? We've got about 5 minutes to fill.
I would like to see how the sleeve sponsor looks on that shirt.
What is it?
Yeah, what is that?
So I googled
Food?
it. It's called Grow Food, and they are an SEO marketing agency in Stockport.
Oh,
and
okay.
as far as I know, there's nothing on the back. You know, normally you have one at the top there, and I think in the past we've had another one.
Yeah.
There.
Well, the delivery app one last season was particularly obnoxious.
Yeah.
I don't mind the back. Like I didn't. Was it Project Solar we had last season? I didn't mind that.
Different kits had different ones on, didn't we? So didn't one have Beechwood and
Beechwood was the third kit, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Charlotte's got the extra small one, so presumably that looks enormous on it, but I've not had a look at it.
Well, if the SEO lads want to get in touch and give us a hand, you know, they can SEO us right up, baby.
Yeah,
Because I am tempted by the refresher third shirt.
Oh, I am.
I would be more tempted if the pattern had continued onto the back. That's sort of the even if they put a square in for shirt numbers.
yeah.
But the pattern doesn't just abruptly stop, because it was the thing that I disliked about the kits last season, even though I bought two. Being someone who's rarely bought kits for about 10, 15 years, I bought two last season and one the season before.
A very important point regarding that shirt, though, we've got red names and numbers, which is
how it should be.
That was the biggest revelation of the Derby game for me, I think. That was what I was most excited about.
Yeah, it was. It's nice. It's very vibrant, isn't it? It stands out.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, we'll probably never see it again now, though, will we? we'll see it for like one game, and that's gonna.
It won't be on. It won't be on EA Sports FC 25.
That's the real tragedy here.
That is because the black one wasn't on last season either, and I'm like, you're missing the better kit, in my opinion.
The Puma King stuff's nice as well. Have you seen that? So the white and grey top that they've been wearing in Pinatar, and then there's a quarter zip, half zip thing, and a full zip. But they're really nice. They're a bit like some of the training kit bits that we've had for the last couple of seasons. But I don't. What is Puma King like? Is it Puma's like athleisure brand?
Yeah, I think it always used to be. I used to have Puma King boots when I was a kid. They were the boots to have aside from Adidas Predators. I think like Puma Kings.
I vaguely remember the boots as well.
Yeah, I had a red pair of Puma Kings once, and then realised I looked like a knobhead. I wasn't a flair player.
I had the only time I didn't have black football boots growing up was when I had a blue pair of the Nike Total 90s.
Ah, yes.
They were nice. Every other pair I had were like just black. But
after the 1883 hoodie, which has bobbled horrifically, I'm going back to basics with Puma, and the new hoodie has got the silver badge on. The silver badge that's on all the training kit, and I think that looks quite nice. So that's going to be my next purchase. But you can get a season ticket discount on the casual wear stuff, can't you? So,
of course, yeah. You don't get on shirts, but on
and they've got the gilets as well. My dad wanted a gilet for Christmas, and I didn't get him one because they sold out, and now they don't do his size. So I failed. Failed as a daughter.
I don't think I could. I don't think I've got the arms for it, mate. Unfortunately,
I'm always warm. And it's my body that is always warm, so I don't.
I'm a sweaty, clammy mess of a man, to be honest. I was in a right state at weekend, just really bad. Yeah, sent me over the edge. That's why I didn't go to Pinatar.
It was intense. We were lucky actually because the sun was behind us, and there was a bit of a breeze that kind of swept through the like bleacher type seat, so you had a bit of a breeze on the back of your legs. But yeah, it was hot. But I'm not sure. I don't know whether it's hotter than last year. It felt maybe, don't know.
I mean, props for the use of bleachers, though. That's what people got to make out in teen movies.
Yeah. That's what it felt like. Bleachers. And the Derby fans were all fairly well behaved, I think. I don't feel like
I'm surprised that given that Nottingham Forest were also in town at the same time.
Yeah, so Nottingham Forest played Sunderland on Friday night, and that was so we had like half of one side and Derby had the other half. On the Friday night, Sunderland had one side and Notts Forest had the other side, so it was kind of double the capacity. but neither. So we had the Nottingham Forest team were in our hotel, but very few fans, and Sunderland had, I don't know whether it came out well before we went away that they told their fans that it was in Benidorm, so all the fans were staying in Benidorm and then bussed out. So I think there was something on away day fans or something of the Forest and Sunderland fans, but presumably that was in Benidorm. It didn't look like it was Pinatar.
I wonder if it'll be 3 years in a row, or if we'll go somewhere else next year.
Well, I was going to say that's what I'm having for the fan forum. Like, when will next season's be? Next season's pre-season, and where will it be to?
And also, will Louis Barry be there? You've got to keep up with everyone else. You can't just, yeah. I've not got any big questions to ask at the forum yet. I'm sure me and Dave will have a little chat about squad numbers again, and then he'll just. I mean, Jezzy Fevs as number 10 is
one thing that I noticed. If the numbers that were being worn in Pinatar are, because there seemed to be some suggestion that what's Southam Hale's going to be, because 2 and 7 were both in use.
I think the only
is he going to end up as 12?
The only ones that were consistent were the ones that either played last season and so had their own squad number, or people like Jezzy Fevs who have bagsied their squad number on signing.
Horsefall was 5 instead of 6. Interestingly,
I didn't notice
5's
that.
available now that Byrne's gone, but which would open up the possibility of them maybe giving 6 to a defensive midfielder, which is just going to annoy me.
I'm excited.
They will do that just to wind you and me up.
Of course they will, and we'll have people going around describing Mingy as a 6. And I'll be like, well, no, not if he's playing a defensive midfield.
If he's playing at right centre back, fine.
Yeah. If he's the ball
pushing up
playing
into midfield.
What did you think of Jezzy Fevs, Nick?
I don't think he managed to get into the game as much as we would have hoped. He looked good when he did get on the ball, but to be honest, I would much rather he saves it for the season to start. As long as he's fit and firing. But I think with a lot of the signings, by the very nature of them being young lads, I think we should expect a certain amount of inconsistency. We've got some young lads that are stepping up to a level they've not played at before, and I hope people are patient. He said in hope rather than expectation.
I think people need to be patient across the board. There's a lot of talk and people going, oh, we're going for it. We're targeting the playoffs, and I believe it. But if we end up lower mid-table with this squad, I don't want to see tantrums. I don't want to see Challoner out, any of this, because we are progressing. And if we are 16th, 17th, sure, it's disappointing, but yeah, it's a work in progress, and people just need to chill. We're in League One. Christ. Yeah. I'm happy in League One.
Not where we were when I first started going.
This is where we were the earliest game I remember being at.
Yeah.
Is League One.
Same, I think.
Division 2. The earliest game I remember was against Wrexham. So, things come full circle.
Well, mine was Huddersfield.
I also remember a game against Blackpool as well. So
yeah, I do.
There were 2 Blackpool fans. Sorry to completely randomly change. 2 Blackpool fans in the pub that I was in Surrey for the Euro final. One who was a friend. One who was a friend of a friend in the group I was in. And then I was walking to the bar and I overheard someone going, "So who do you support?" And he went, "Blackpool." I was like, "Why are there 2 Blackpool fans here?" There was another county fan in that town that I didn't know about.
To get out of Blackpool.
Well, yeah. I mean, the one that was in our group lives in Cambridge, so yeah. I don't quite know what he was doing where we were, but yeah. Or how he's a Blackpool fan.
It takes all sorts, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Takes all sorts. Right, I think we should wrap it up there. We've had a good out. We've put the world to rights there. I've managed to annoy myself about hypothetical squad numbers. So, as far as I'm concerned, that's been a good day. Cheers to everyone for tuning in. cheers, Hannah. Cheers, Will. It's been a pleasure. Same again
Can we just go
next
through
week
this?
when we'll have another friendly to discuss, unless that one gets
Sorry,
postponed
if
as
you
well.
got a screensaver, Will.
Yeah, if it will focus.
Hey,
Oh,
there it is.
There it
It's
is.
the square logo though. We're on the
There
round
we
one
go.
now.
All right, I
Keep
panicked
up-
and
keep
got
up the
one off.
zeitgeist.
I got one off WhatsApp. Okay, you haven't sent me any new logos. Okay, so that's on you. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I'll send it you hourly between now and the season starting.
And I'll still end
So
up with
you-
the wrong one.
So like that. Yeah, still.
It'll
I
be
like
something
that.
else on there next time. Just
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
just going away. Might be
Oh,
a
I
video
mean,
game.
yeah.
Who knows?
Oh, yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. That's,
Might be a
yeah,
movie.
Yeah.
Just might just have a movie on in the background.
Yeah. Oh, I was watching. I could talk about this now because it's after 9 o'clock. I was watching with Post Watershed. So I was watching this film the other week with my other half, and it was some
Porn.
it was some like, well, it wasn't meant to be, and it was something with one of the Scars guards in it. And there's a bit where some woman comes up behind him in the woods and starts like, I don't know why I'm whispering. She starts like wanking him off, and you actually see like a willy. I mean, it's obviously not his because he's a pretty big star, so it's obviously a stunt penis. But stunt penis, that's going in the episode title.
no,
sorted.
I feel like Alexander Skarsgård got his willy out in what was the vampire one?
True Blood.
So I think he's maybe just proud of himself.
Yeah, like
Well,
Ian
he
McKellen.
definitely didn't get it out for the following bit of a scene because as it was being manipulated, I turned to it and said, "Oh, if she carries on like that, he's gonna come." And then, lo and behold, that's what happened. Something was expelled, and I was like, "Oh, that must be a stunt."
Are we still
Really?
live?
Yeah.
Get onto this.
Post Watershed, it's fine. It's because Will mentioned putting a film on, and anytime I think of films now, I just think of that.
You just
that
think
horrid-
of a Skarsgård's
yeah,
Skarsgård.
yeah. Genuinely, like, properly, like, I didn't expect it because I knew it was quite a big name, and yeah, I've not been able to find out whether it is his actual member.
It's probably not something you should Google either, like alarm bells.
No, I've got incognito mode on. So.
All right.
You've got a
okay,
VPN, haven't you? Yeah.
professional.
Yeah, I got VPN incognito, and I logged into someone else's account, so it's fine. Right, that's probably as good a place to wrap it up as anyway,
Yeah.
isn't it?
I heard he's a Blackpool fan as well. Alexander Skarsgård.
There we
just to, like, bring it
go.
all around
Oh,
again.
yeah. Full circle.
All comes together. Right, let's say goodbye to everyone, shall we?
Bye.
Bye. Be good to each other.